Have you ever posted a question in my Facebook group, Puppy Training with Michele Lennon? If you are not in this awesome group, I strongly recommend it. The link is in the description below this video. Now, someone in that group, Katie, is about to get a puppy and she works full time. She asked about coming home for lunch and then leaving the Kong in the crate when she goes back to work. Now, this is a great question, but before I answer it, there are some things we need to go over about working full-time with a new puppy. Now, before I answer, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button. We have several more videos coming out, and I don't want you to miss out on getting notifications when they go live. Michele here with How to Train a Dream Dog. All right, you guessed it. Working full-time is our topic for the day. We're going to dive into Katie's question and talk about how to own a puppy and work full-time outside of the home. And by the way, if you are working at home and getting a new puppy, well, there's a different video that you might like. Check that one out here. Now, working away from home and getting a new puppy can work. Millions of people do it. But I'm here to tell you how to make it work well for you and your puppy. So first, let's talk about what the puppy needs on a daily basis. Now, you might have seen the sample schedule in the new puppy starter kit. It outlines what your day could look like when the puppy first comes home. Did it seem like a lot? Well, it is. Puppies have a lot of needs. Puppies can hold their bladder for about an hour per month of age. So that's really the first thing you're gonna have to manage, making sure puppy can get those necessary potty breaks. Now, preventing accidents in your house or in the crate is really your #1 goal in potty training. Now, if you're thinking of getting one of those setups with a pee pad and a pen, well, I'm gonna say nope, nope, and nopety nope. The first downside to pee pads is they actually teach your puppy to go potty inside. This is a habit that becomes very hard to break. Your kitchen rugs will never be safe, and you definitely won't be a welcome guest at a friend's house. And your puppy is young. She's learning so many things. And now is the time to teach her that potty breaks happen outside. Yes, even in the dead of winter, even with snow, even in the middle of the night, and even when you're at work. So doggy doors are another option that people ask about. That's also going to be a note for me as well. Sorry. I'm going to tell you why. I may sound like a party pooper, but I just want to give you my professional trainer advice. With doggy doors, you lose control when the puppy goes outside for a potty break, and you miss the opportunity to reward her. Those are 2 of the 4 fundamentals of potty training. In addition, puppies are curious and often get into things that they should not. Now, I'm talking about rocks, tree bark, toxic plants, pools, escaping through fence gaps, and so much more. When I worked at the vet's office, I saw far too many cases of dogs needing emergency treatment because they were unsupervised. Now, I also want you to think about your puppy like a human toddler. Now, if you left your toddler home all day alone, do you think she would put herself down for a nap? Probably not. She'd wander around the house and do all things that she wanted to do. Now, your puppy is the same. With all that room to roam, she's going to be active and doing everything but napping. The bottom line here is that your puppy belongs in the crate when you're at work. The crate keeps her safe. It keeps your house safe, and it helps her rest and relax until you get home. Now, you might say, but if she's in the crate, I have to let her out every few hours for a potty break. Yep, you do. Now, I'm going to go over that in just a minute. Before we talk about the schedule, I want to share more details about your puppy's development at this early stage of life. By understanding her development, you'll understand why it's so important to meet all of these needs, not just for her bladder. Something else to consider is the imprint period. So the period from about birth to about 12 to 14, sometimes 16 weeks of age is extremely important in the development of your puppy. During this time, she's learning so much about the world around her, and she's learning how to react to it. Therefore, it's critical that she have a proper and positive exposure to new things. This is what we call exposure training, and it's so important for the lifelong impact it has on your dog. Guys, this is big stuff. Now, I've seen dogs who did not get this exposure training have a massive struggle with new people coming over, other dogs at the park, new sounds in the home or the neighborhood, and even changes in the weather. Living with that kind of fear and uncertainty is miserable for the dog, and it doesn't create a lot of harmony in the human world either. This is why we strongly recommend that you start socialization and exposure training before your pup has all of her shots. Now, if you wait until after the final round of vaccinations, you will have missed out on this critical socialization window. Now, I have a video that goes into more details on this important topic, so I want you to watch that one next. Now, if your vet tells you that your puppy is not allowed to go outside until they're fully vaccinated, I'm going to highly recommend that you start looking for a new vet. Safe and positive as socialization and exposure has lasting impacts on the rest of your dog's life. The consequences of under-socializing your puppy far outweigh the risks of exposing your dog to new things before she's fully vaccinated. I encourage you to find a vet who understands that balance. Okay, now that you know about the critical exposure window, it means you're going to need someone to come in during the time that you're at work. This puppy helper will be able to offer your pup some of these new opportunities, take her out for potty breaks, give her a meal, do some basic training, and have some fun playtime. And definitely do some cuddling too. Now, it's simply not fair to the dog to be left home alone all day with no engagement and no opportunity to run and jump and play and just do all the things she loves. Now let's talk about the schedule. How do you make your puppy's nap time fit best with your work schedule? Well, your schedule might not look exactly like the one in the new puppy starter kit. Your pup might be able to take longer naps, or might need shorter ones. Now you're going to have to evaluate what your dog's natural schedule is and build off of that to make one that fits your work schedule. Now I work at home, which is great for my 3 dogs, especially Pickles. And if you haven't joined me on the live broadcast on Mondays at 11 a.m., you should definitely tune in to my Facebook group around that time. Pickles is usually curled up behind me, like a good dog that he is, in his bed. But when I worked away from home and couldn't take my dogs to work, our morning schedule looked something like this. First thing after waking up, we would potty and play and have a meal, and then we would do some training while the meal was settling. And did you know that you should not allow your dog to do excessive or have excessive physical activity right after a meal? Now after that meal is settled, we'd do some exercise, followed by a cool down, and then back in the crate for a nap. Now once I was able to get through those items, then I left for work. Now if you think that sounds like a lot, yeah, it can be. So if you need to get up earlier to fit it all in, that's what you have to do. You would never run out of time to brush your teeth or brush your hair, so don't run out of time to meet your dog's needs before you go to work. Now, with an active morning like that one, your pup's gonna likely be ready for a nice long snooze in the crate. Just make sure that you've done your crate training work ahead of time, so she knows the crate is the place for napping. I've got a lot more on crate training in this other video here. Alright, after napping for an hour or 2, maybe more, depending on your dog's age, it's gonna be time for an outing. She'll definitely need a potty break, maybe some water, some play, some training, some enriching activities like shredding or chasing or sniffing, and then another cool down activity before going back in the crate. Now that cool down activity is actually really important. Now you might be tempted to skip it and go directly from exercise back in the crate, but have you ever taken a nap after running a marathon? Sure, maybe later in the day you took a good snooze, but I can guarantee you that you did not head right to the finish line and then right to your bed. It's the same for your dog, so be sure to offer that transition activity in between a low and a high energy activity. Now if you need ideas on what you can do, you can check out this video here. Now after this mid-morning break, it might be time for another snooze in the crate until lunchtime. Perfect! Once lunchtime comes, you can repeat many of those same activities or vary it up a little bit to make it interesting. You're going to probably have to do this again one more time in the middle of the afternoon, and then hopefully you'll be home from work and can resume your normal scheduled evening activities. Now as your puppy gets older and is napping longer, you can start to cut out a few of these outings. Be sure to provide enough enrichment during the day that your puppy can settle well while you're gone. Now she can't do this for herself. It's your job to do it for her. So going back to Katie's question, you can see that there's a lot more to it than simply saying, yes, your puppy can have a Kong in his crate, or no, he can't. Yes, for many puppies, a Kong in the crate to enjoy and lick as part of a settling down activity would be fine. But for a young puppy, it's not a good idea to feed his lunch in the crate. Puppies often have to go potty a few minutes after eating when they're young. So you're going to have to be available to let them out when it's time. And as you heard me say, this boxer is going to need a lot more than just a Kong in the crate during a lunch break. He'll need the humans in his life to fill up his puppy pail, or in human terms, his emotional cup. So by now you might be thinking, Michele, you make it sound like no one can work full time and have a young puppy. Now, I know it might sound like that, but I promise that's not what I'm trying to say. Like I mentioned before, you're going to have to make arrangements for your puppy's needs to be met while you're at work. Now let me give you some tips on that. When arranging for this puppy sitter, think about how often this person should come over. Here's a great question on this one by one of my group members. Alexandra asks, we're gonna get a puppy in a few weeks and I'm trying to plan ahead. It'll be 8 weeks when we get him. Luckily, we have some time off of work schedule to be with them. My question is, how many times is someone going to need to come throughout the day? Great question, Alexandra. So this is going to actually depend on the age of your puppy and her schedule. It's important to build up to the schedule gradually. You can't go from no schedule to then puppy being in the crate all day with no training. You're going to have to slowly work up to the schedule that you want to achieve. Now, so what I want you to do is think about your work schedule and when is the best time for puppy to nap. And if the schedule doesn't fit your work schedule yet, adjust the play and the wake time by maybe about 15-minute increments until you're at the schedule you like. Next, you're going to want to talk to this sitter or the caretaker about what to do with your puppy when he or she visits. And the answer is all the things. All right, well maybe not all of them, but this is a great time to have some focused attention on training, exposure to new things, enriching activities like shredding or foraging, and definitely that adorable puppy play. So take time for the caretaker to get to know your puppy and her body language and her signals. Make sure the puppy is familiar with the caretaker too. Believe me, you being gone all day will be a bit of a shock to your puppy. So you want the caretaker to be a safe and familiar person. Consider a professional dog walking or caretaking service if friends or family are unavailable. Not having someone come in is not an option. And for the times when your puppy's alone, hopefully resting in the crate, get a pet camera so you can keep an eye on what's happening, and you're gonna soon see when that nap schedule might need to shift. And you can adjust your sitter schedule accordingly. I've put a link to the camera we like in the description below. Now that you've worked up to a good schedule and ensured that your puppy's needs are met during the day, it's time to think about your return home from work. Despite a midday pet sitter, that puppy is likely to be excited and full of energy, which is probably the opposite of you. It is important to recognize that your dog has rested most of the day, and this is her time for activity and playtime with her favorite person. So do yourself a favor and have your other tasks like your dinner planned in advance so that you can focus on your dog. Even if you want to sit down and take a quick nap or make a gourmet meal, energetic play with your puppy will probably need to come first. She'll find a way to do it, with or without you, and after the play, you might do some training and some mental exercise, and then a cool down so you can focus on your human chores. Some people say, how do I exercise her at night? I can't take her for a walk when it's dark. Sorry, Charlie, fear of the dark is a human construct. If it's dark, take a walk anyway. Put on that coal miner's lamp, get a reflective vest for the dog, and head out if you need to. Now you might choose this time to go to a well-lit parking lot instead. Dogs don't care if it's a parking lot, it still has lots of interesting smells. Some people might ask, Michelle, are there any other options? Well, a few of my students have dog-friendly workplaces and have had success taking their dogs to work with them. This can also be a good idea, or it can go pretty poorly. It all depends on how well prepared you are. Now, even if your puppy goes with you to work, it's still important to crate train and stick to a schedule of meals, engagement, potty breaks, and naps. All too often, puppies go to work but aren't able to get the proper rest because of all the activities throughout the day. This makes for an overtired puppy, which is no fun for anyone. So, if you're going to take your dog to work, just be sure to take the crate and the cover, establish a schedule that works for both of you, and make sure those regular naps happen for proper recovery from the exciting day. You know what I don't want you to do? Doggy daycare. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details of why, but you can assume that if I don't like something, it's because it's not good for your dog. This video is going to tell you all my reasons why. So, to sum up today, young puppies require more than just potty breaks. Positive exposure training and human engagement is necessary. Establish a schedule of meals, play, exercise, and naps. Hire the proper caretakers and train them well. Dogs going to work still have needs that must be met. Find a better option than doggy daycares and plan for some dog-centered activities when you get home from work. And repeat. I hope you learned some good tips for balancing work and a new puppy. In the comments below, tell me, how are you going to care for your puppy when you aren't home?